What if I told you Jim Cramer's got something to hide? He's waging war, all-out war, and it may be against you. That's right, Jim Cramer's trying to protect something, and it's not the retail investor. After all, this is the same Jim Cramer who was incredibly bullish at the peak of last year's bull cycle, who's now on a mission to get everyone to sell the bottom after crypto took a bearish turn. Something must have happened to Jim's crypto thesis. I don't care whether Jim or CNBC is bearish on crypto or not. They've been wrong before. I don't ever expect them to get it right. My mission is to get to the bottom of why he's talking about it so much. What makes him so sure he's going to be right? Today, we're going to give Jim Cramer a giant metaphorical slap on his big bald head. Let's get it. Welcome to BitSquad Crypto. My name is Ben, and today I want to tell you the reason why Jim Cramer is going after crypto, and it's not what you think. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content from the BitSquad Crypto channel.
I'm all for it. I think it's almost irresponsible not to include it. Every treasurer should be going to boards of directors and saying, should we put a small portion of our cash in Bitcoin?
Jim Cramer wasn't always a crypto hater. 2 years ago, he was very bullish on Bitcoin, and he talked about it a lot on CNBC news shows, including Squawk Box, the network's morning news program. He was interviewed regularly about his take on crypto, and one thing was very clear. He called Bitcoin specifically exciting, saying he's all for it, even going as far as to call it irresponsible not to have any. He even recommended company treasurers should buy it because it's quote unquote interesting hedge. This is bullish Jim, and we saw him a lot at the beginning of the last bull cycle and all the way to the 69K Bitcoin top. Unsurprisingly, Bitcoin sparked joy for Jim after he bought a bunch of it at 12K, and the chart went up and to the right. That's right, folks, Jim Cramer made a bunch of money from Bitcoin. He reveals this in his hindsight when he goes and shows us how much money he made at the top of the bull cycle when Coinbase had its IPO as a direct listing on the NASDAQ. The price of Bitcoin was knocking on the door of $50,000. Even though he was selling, his sentiment was still bullish. He did suggest to the audience that the price was starting to feel toppy, but he also said that he owned some cash, gold, and Bitcoin, and even said it's an alternative to a cash position. In April of 2021, when Bitcoin's priced at well over 62K, he told Squawk on the Street that he sold half his Bitcoin position as the price rose to over 60K, and he used the profits to pay off his mortgage. He says he used phony money to pay off real money, and it's right then that we get our first clue about what Jim Cramer is hiding and why he's about to make a slew of terrible crypto calls. Jimmy Chill might have just gotten lucky with Bitcoin, but the truth is, he had no idea what he was buying. And that doesn't change as crypto overheats. In the market, it's a double top at 69K. Looking back on interviews and comments he makes about cryptocurrency, we see that he never did his research. And even though he knows zero about digital money, he will make authoritative calls about it constantly. And this doesn't change during the bear market and where we are now.
All right, so why don't we all switch to Solana? I mean, Solana sounds like it's actually commercial, and the other guys sound like that they're antique.
There's already thousands of people are already switching.
So in this clip, Jim continues to talk about crypto and Mad Money and other CNBC shows like Squawk Box to weigh in. Everyone on the network adopts an outlook for crypto that ranges from bearish to bullish. They invite guests like Mike Novogratz, CZ, everybody's favorite scammer, Sam Bankman-Fried, and several other investment experts and financial advisors to try to tell viewers what to think about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. At the very least, it raises an eyebrow that Cramer did an interview with Solana CEO Anatoly Yakovenko in June of 2021, pre-Solana pump, when Sol was trading for around $30. Did he know something about the VC money that was going to funnel into the asset to dump on investors, then laugh about it on the All In podcast? Or did he know something about the relationship between Solana and the guy who wants to put everyone out of business but won't pay for a haircut, Sam Bankman-Fried? It's unlikely we will ever know. But when the original interview aired, Cramer ended it by saying, "I think I'll buy some." But that's been cut from every replay video I can find online. By September 8th, the price of Solana was $209. And in November of 21, it reached an all-time high of just under $250. Regardless of what Cramer knew or didn't know, Solana turned out to be a good mad money call. And it was a bull market, and it was pretty easy to look like a genius. So how did he go from bullish Jim to this?
And I think that everybody who owns these various coins, Solana, Litecoin, I do think you're an idiot, okay? I did not go to college to get stupid. These people who own these things should not own them. They shouldn't own them.
At the top of the market, Cramer's telling everyone to buy Bitcoin, buy Solana, saying it's irresponsible not to and it's a great hedge. And now he's calling everyone who did that an idiot. Thanks, Jim. For what I can see, things started to change when the price of Bitcoin started dropping, and Jim has no idea why. He still talks about buying some altcoins, but his sentiment is definitely changing. He tells everyone he owns Ethereum, and to his credit, he gives practical advice like not borrowing to buy crypto, only putting 5% of your capital in speculative investments, and expecting the possibility that a crypto investment might not pay off. And as time goes on, crypto investments with a short time horizon don't pay off, to say the least. In fact, if we zoom out, the history shows us that Cramer recommends buying and selling crypto at all the wrong times. Some have dubbed this the double Cramer, a history of buying high and selling low. Ouch. It wasn't just Jim. A lot of talking heads on CNBC were bullish on crypto in 2021 as well. It's culminated in August of 21 with a CNBC report that concluded 1 out of 10 investors were buying crypto. He must have started getting a lot of pushback from people who lost money, which probably got us where we are today, with Jim Cramer actively funding crypto and using his platform to tell anyone and everyone to sell and never look back. He's lashing out, and when people lash out, it only means one thing: they've got something to hide. So what is Jim Cramer hiding? Looking at past videos, it's pretty obvious. He's licking wounds after doing almost no research on crypto and blindly recommending and reactively funding. He's made it very clear from the start that he doesn't understand what it is. And it's crystal clear that he doesn't know Bitcoin maintains its supply-demand economics with a 4-year bull and bear cycle. You should have watched my show, Jim. That's how we make all our calls, and we might not have gotten all the numbers exactly right, but our timing has been pretty spot on for the last several years. But instead of calling Jim an idiot, like he's called us, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he really does want to protect investors. After all, we know crypto regulation is coming, and he knows it too. And the SEC can do some damage to US-based crypto companies and restrict some of what investors can do, but we forget crypto is global. It's not in a bubble like American stocks. Even if the US banned crypto, enforcing those laws would be a logistical nightmare. Blockchains don't stop, except for Solana. And regulating every crypto wallet in America would be impossible. The point here is, regardless of what goes on in the United States with the SEC, crypto will continue to be used around the world. And this is where Jim Cramer is hiding another major research blind spot. He's treating crypto as if they're stocks, and they simply aren't. In fact, they have almost no similarities to stocks. They're a novel investment category. We've never seen them before, and they need to be treated differently. Jim is hiding his ignorance by being bearish. After showing the top, he's looking at notorious NBC bears like SBF's buddy, Andrew Ross Sorkin, and wishes he could say, "I told you so," but it's too late. And he won't be able to use crypto's volatility to save his reputation, because pretty soon it's going to swing all the way down. It's already damaged. Consider this an official invitation to join the BitSquad. We'll show you the ropes and teach you everything there is to know about crypto. You can start by reading my new book, Catching Up to Crypto. The link's down below in the video description. In the meantime, let's not repeat the mistakes of 2019 when CNBC was telling us not to touch Bitcoin, when in actuality, it was time to buy. And now, it's time for me to say bye. That's all I got. Be blessed. And also, screw Jim Cramer. BitBoy out.